In this video I will cover how to reuse created parts in other documents in FreeCAD. Um, Reusability is of course very convenient. If you already created something once, you don't need to recreate it again entirely. I found that this was not so easy to accomplish with FreeCAD, especially the default installation that you get when you just downloaded it. Um, so therefore I'm recording this video also for myself, so for future reference I can look up what I need to do in order to reuse parts. So before going into a FreeCAD, I will show you with OpenSCAD, because I first did a lot with OpenSCAD before going to FreeCAD. I will demonstrate in OpenSCAD what I mean. So here we have an assembly, a part, and a subpart. The subpart is responsible for creating this disk and is reused by this part, which then puts a shaft on top. And it's fully parametric in a way that the assembly can define multiple variants of these parts without having to rewrite anything that we actually already created. So achieving this in FreeCAD is not as straightforward as I would have hoped, especially, at least that's my opinion, especially not when compared to OpenSCAD. One could say, well, you can code your entire workbenches yourself, and that's of course a very powerful feature, but I don't want to code, I want to use the UI. Hence, I use FreeCAD and not OpenSCAD. And also, if you would already have created something in FreeCAD that you want to reuse, you don't want to redo it entirely in code, right? You just want to use what you already created. So here we have the same setup. We have assembly, part, and I have to save this document, subpart. By default, after you have installed FreeCAD, you don't have this assembly workbench. Well, for the purpose of what I just showed, reusing parts and building on top of it fully parametrically, you need this assembly workbench. So if you haven't installed it already, you can do so via the add-on manager and install it. So what we need is in each of these documents, we need the assembly. So I'm going to add them to each document. Now that we're in the assembly workbench, here you can add the assembly. I don't know why the parts folder is above it, because for what I want to achieve, because for what we want to achieve, it needs to be apparently in the assembly. But that's also because we're going to use this so-called experimental feature. So I'm adding the assembly. Oh, made the same mistake again. Yes, so the assembly workbench is basically what makes it work. So here we have, if we go back to the OpenSCAD, here we have the basic disk, which is the subpart, which is this document. And we have variables, so we add a variable diameter, and we have a variable height, give it some default values. I already draw a sketch with a pad, so this pad should become height, the variable that we just added. And inside in the sketch, going to constraint the diameter of this circle to variables. Diameter, okay, close. So now we have here our basic subpart, which we want to be able to reuse in parts and in part. And part is, if we go back to OpenSCAD, part is this one that reuses the subpart and puts on top a shaft. So in order to achieve that, we are going to use again some feature of the assembly workbench, and here they say it's experimental. Which one should I import from? Maybe I should have given them some names, which I didn't do before. This one is assembly. This one is also called assembly. I'm not sure. Maybe we can close this one for now. Okay, let's try again. Now we have one. Okay, insert. And here you see now we already have the disk. You can bind some coordinate systems for its placement, but I don't want it right now, so just ignore it. So now it is imported and I want to be able to build on top of it, actually in this body. What we do then, we create a shape binder, and that shape binder yes, this is the shape binder. That shape binder uses the base feature for the body inside the part document. Let's save that. So now if I hide this, we see that we have a body with this disk. And what we wanted is to be able to reuse this with parameters. And here we can see the imported part, this one, has diameter and height. So again, because this is the part and no longer the subpart, we're going to add parameters. Just like we have in OpenSCAD, the subpart only has diameter and height. The part also has shaft height and diameter, and disk diameter and disk height. So I'm going to create the same. Disk height, disk diameter, shaft height, shaft diameter. And the reason why I'm also adding parameters again for the disk here in the part document is because when we are going to import it from the part document, we want to be able to control all four parameters, all four of these. So let's bind those to the imported part here. Variables. And now we have disk diameter. Variables. Disk height. Okay. But also, if you would change these now in the assembly, I believe they are here somewhere. Variables. If we change these now, it should show. So that's nice. Okay. And now let's build on top of it. So because of the shape binder, which we set to be the base feature of this body, we can now click the top face. And I don't recommend you to build objects based on faces placing sketches. You can better work with data planes, but for this example, I'm going to use the face plane anyway. So this will be our shaft. So therefore I'm going to constrain this to the variable that we just added. Variables, shaft diameter. I'm going to add a pad operation. Variables, shaft height. Okay. So now we've created our subpart. On top of it, the part. If I would now open the assembly, and repeat the same kind of process. Again, go to the assembly workbench, use the experimental feature to import. Again, which one should I pick? Let's just try. Never try, never fail. Nope. Delete. Yep. Again, I don't care about placement for now. So I could do the same again, and then we have two of those. Well, let's give it some translation this time. So we have them side by side. Now we can control them individually. And as you can see, we can give parameters to both of them. And of course, the very cool part is because they are now all linked. If I would alter something here in the subpart, it should be reflected in the assembly. So I'm going to add something here, which is kind of ugly, but for demonstration purposes. It's not fully constrained, but we don't care. So there's a hole now in the disk. And let's see what happens if we go to the assembly. Is there a hole in the disk? There is not. But also, as they said, it's an experimental feature. What if we now close all of them? And if we now open the assembly, everything is reloaded, and there you have it. There is the hole in the disk. So now they're all really linked, fully parametric, and one can reuse basically in endless layers, virtually of course, building parts without having to redesign something from scratch that you already created. And this for me was quite the struggle to find out on how to accomplish this in FreeCAD, which I think is actually really a basic feature in order to work efficiently, especially when it comes to larger assemblies with variants, etc. Of course, you have the linked variant table with the spreadsheet, but it's not as reusable as this approach.